So let's looky here. We are at 977 kilometers of the 1,000 kilometer burn-in period before I have to do the first service. So why don't we just call this the burn-in period review. It doesn't tell you everything you need to know about a bike, because you can't treat her the way you're planning to in that first 1,000 kilometers. It's been fun, and I'm excited to tick over 1,000. I'm excited to be able to open her up a little bit more. I'm excited to finally get wrenching again, even if it's just an oil change. Let's get going. This is what I was doing wrong the first couple of times I hit roads. Because my arm is the way that it is, it's a little bit more difficult to stand up until I can make some modifications. Probably need to get some risers, or potentially even a different set of handlebars for me. I'm not doing any crazy off-roading, so it seems like it'd probably be fine. Hello. To be really comfortable off-roading, I definitely need to be able to stand up more, and I'm kind of hunched over because this arm doesn't extend all the way. And the one thing I'm hesitant to do at all is stand up without both hands on the handlebars. That's just asking for trouble, so that's why I haven't done that. It's not smart. There's a lot of things I do on a bike I wouldn't recommend other people do, partially because of I don't like to call it a handicap, but I'm delusional if I pretend that it's not a handicap. Whoop! Neutral. That doesn't help. It's definitely a bit of a handicap. At least when it comes to riding, you know. But what have I thought of the bike so far? The first thing I gotta point out to anybody who's even thinking about this bike, if you're used to a multi-cylinder engine, coming down to a one-cylinder engine, there's a lot more vibration. Arguably, there's probably some other bikes and engine combinations out there that have multiple cylinders and are also very rough, I guess would be the word. But when you only have the one cylinder, it's more thumpy, you know? The one-cylinder engine definitely makes it toot, 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 a little bit more, and you can feel it. So a combination of that plus the dual sport tires, if you're not used to it, that's just something you're gonna have to get used to. I think most people out there though aren't gonna have a problem with that. I have an issue only because of my arm and how much pain it's kind of causing as I'm getting used to the extra vibration, and without any kind of cruise control on this bike, it makes it difficult to, you know, take my hand off of the handlebars for any appreciable length of time, because, you know, I can pull the clutch and not slow down as much, but you stop accelerating and immediately start decelerating as soon as you take it off, right? You know, I've been spending a lot more time with my hand on the actual handlebars, which is a good thing. Is what most riders should be doing. In my case, it's just a little bit more difficult. So it's something that I've had to get used to. Definitely does not detract from how much I'm enjoying this bike though. Kilometer distance. This blows Malls out of the water, and I think that's always because I haven't really, you know, Malls always carried more weight than that bike was designed to, because I'm a bigger guy, and I had it, like, the gear ratios on the drive chain set in a way that wasn't really maximal fuel economy. So is that, and I drive like a bat out of hell as soon as I'm out of the city or I'm on an open road and those kinds of things. So but her fuel economy was always kind of abysmal. I could get about 170 kilometers if I was lucky between fill-ups. So for longer trips, that did become an issue. On my road trips with Malls, I always had to keep very, very close eye, and I carried a roto pack with a substantial amount of fuel for the occasions where I would plan a trip and there literally wasn't a gas station for 150 miles or like 300 kilometers, that kind of thing. So there was times when it just wasn't possible for moles to get from one gas station to another on a single tank. This, I don't think, is going to have the same issue. Now, it's not a massive tank, and it's not super efficient. It's a one-cylinder engine, but it is not super efficient on gas. I was expecting a little bit more fuel efficiency. I think the way I ride mitigates some of that fuel efficiency. I think if you're using this as a scrambler off-road, you're going to see a much higher fuel economy for it, because you're not running the engine at, 6,000 RPM most of the time. And I am, because I'm only doing a minimal amount of off-roading. Even when I'm off-roading, I'm generally probably going faster than I need to be going. These are all warnings for people to not do what I'm doing. Handling has been phenomenal. I love it. It's very responsive. I haven't felt any issues when I've had to do like a 180. I've had to maneuver in and out of traffic in the city. Even with the dual sport tires, I feel like I'm on road tires in terms of the grip and the confidence in the corners. None of that has suffered at all. And I know I could go with more off-roady tires, the ones that come with this. I think they're the Meltzer, whatever they are. They're good. They cause a lot of extra vibration for someone with an arm problem. And at about, between 80 and 90 kilometers an hour, it gets pretty, you gotta kind of get past that, and then suddenly it's smooth sailing. It's not caused any concern in terms of like confidence that the tires are gonna stick where they need to stick. That's both on-road and off-road. So again, I haven't really pushed it off-road. There's people who have more experience with that kind of stuff and are better suited to really push these bikes to their limit. But the thing that I noticed with most of the reviews for off-road is they're not running these tires, So I think these tires, short of actually doing a road trip and testing it out, I think these are probably really good tires for a road trip. They're a really, really nice balance between off-road capability in the few places that you're gonna want and need it, and the road performance. It's a really nice balance. I think if you're really doing a true adventure, you don't really need more than this. Now, comment in the comments if you disagree. I could totally see an argument for, maybe needing more of a 50-50 tire, certainly in certain places in the world if you're traveling. But in my experience, when you're riding your bike and you're full with gear, you're loaded up, you're going on an adventure, you're taking fewer risks because you're not just booting around in your own neighborhood. I really don't see you needing to push the bike and the performance off-road to where you need more than what these tires give you. So that's a kind of short of actually doing some adventure riding fully loaded up, that would be what my impression is so far. The only other drawback to that first 1,000 kilometers is really doing my best to stay under 6,000 RPM. I know the horsepower peak for this engine is 8,500, and the actual rev limit is closer to 9,500 according to Triumph's manual and their recommendations and things. So now you wouldn't want to keep it at 9,500 for any appreciable length of time, but I mean, you can definitely get to that and you're not damaging your engine. But I have done everything that I could to be cognizant and diligent about not pushing that over 6,500. And so I really don't have a feel yet for what this bike can do and will feel like when you really open her up. I am looking forward to that big time. Yeah, the other thing I'll note, if you are getting a bike like this and you're used to cruise control, because I know a lot of the adventure bikes or a lot of the bigger cruiser bikes, they kind of come with cruise control as standard. It's something I've always had, old throttle by cable, carbureted bikes that cruise control is not really an option. I kind of did a faux cruise control where I would push the cluster and throttle kind of together, so there's a lot of friction between the two. and that allowed me to kind of have a faux throttle. I could kind of set it and let go, and with some vibration and stuff, it would slowly creep back down, and that's better because I'd rather it not be actually stuck. But it did allow for some level of kind of faux cruise control. But if you're used to cruise control, she does not come with it. Now, I found a Canadian company that for about 400 and a little under 500 bucks will ship you a CAN bus appropriate module that is effectively plug and play that gives you cruise control. So it should arrive hopefully by Monday. With any luck, I'll do the service and then I will get that on Monday, be able to install it, and then really go for a nice long ride somewhere, open her up, and alleviate some of the pressure on my arm. But for people who are used to that and are expecting to have that, keep that in mind. You're going to spend an extra 500 bucks Canadian, you know, probably another 350 bucks American if you want to get cruise control installed. I don't know if that's something that your dealership can do for you, or if, like me, you're going to do it all on your own. I also know a lot of people are probably going to be looking at this bike without really having that concern, because your plan is to use it as a scrambler. And if that's what you're doing, I don't know why you would need cruise control. Cruise control is really more for straightaways, open highways. But if you're using this as an adventure bike, if your plan is to take it on longer trips, I mean, come on, I would recommend getting it. So it's a modern convenience. It's way safer to use these modern modules now that operate a lot more like cruise control in your car. So, you know, you pull the clutch, you tap the brakes, you increase the throttle, you do any of those kinds of things. Or if it senses a fault, like there's not a non-response in the system, then it'll automatically shut itself off. And I think that's the way to go. It's safer than the kind of silly way I've done it for years. I can't help but recommend it because it's going to be a game changer for those longer trips. Period. Just that's it. What else? Seating position. I do find myself leaning, like coming forward quite a lot on the bike. I don't find it as natural to be able to pinch my legs here on the tank. But I also think that's probably a lot to do again with my arm. My arm, you know, I had to lean quite a bit more forward in order to comfortably reach the handlebars. So it might not be something that other people experience at all. And if not, then awesome. I don't find the seating position to be awkward at all. I just find myself riding like I always did rather than taking advantage of these pads here. I am going to enjoy the rest of this ride. So the next time I have a video after this, it should be me doing the first service, doing the oil change, changing the oil filter, making sure that there's no metal or anything like that where I need to follow up with an actual dealership under warranty. I don't expect that to be the case, but you never know. And then, you know, checking the chain, you know, just kind of doing that first service at 1,000 kilometers. And then, as a bonus, no longer having the rev limiter being so low. I was told by Triumph that is going to automatically cut itself off. It's not going to be something I need to worry about. I don't need to go to a dealership in order to get that taken care of at all, which is nice. The dealership certainly wants you to think that you have to come to them for that. The bike automatically senses that it's over 1,000 kilometers, and that goes away. Which is why in 6 kilometers, when I go over 1,000, I can't just be opening her up, because I really shouldn't do it until after the service. For obvious reasons. I think I will call her there. So long story short, my 994 kilometer review for this bike, I do not regret it. She is a beautiful bike aesthetically. She rides really, really well. I'm dying to figure out what her name is going to be. Any suggestions, put them in the comments. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous day, so I have a feeling I'm going to go a little over 1,000 kilometers before I get back, park her, and do the service tomorrow. To anyone else that's out there getting out this season, ride safe and ride fun. And I'll see all of you beautiful people on the road or in the next video. Have a good one. 1,000! Yeah!